Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time is definitely an interesting one. I look back on this and think, wow, what if I listened? And I'm glad I didn't. So I hope you guys enjoy the story time. If you do, please leave a like on the video, and let's jump into it. Also live on Kick right now. Come check that out if you're watching this in the first couple hours of it going up. Anyway, today's story time all takes place in 2015. Now, this was one of the last years I had in school before I dropped out to pursue YouTube full time. Some people already know that. I'm pretty sure most of you probably know that I dropped out, but some of you might not. So anyway, I was having a normal year for the most part. By normal, I mean I was failing all of my classes and not doing very good. Unfortunately, that was kind of the normal for me. Like, there was a lot of classes where I would try my hardest, but for some reason, I just could not pass the class. So yeah, it was definitely difficult. But anyway, this story time all starts off as a normal day. Like I said, it was a pretty normal year in high school for me. I went to school, got there, I went about my day as usual, and about halfway through the school day is where this story time kicks off. I was sitting in class, in math class to be specific, and I hear over the overhead announcements, "Austin, can you please come to the principal's office?" And I was like, that's weird. What did I do? Because like on this day, I didn't get in any trouble. I didn't do anything wrong. I was like, why the fuck would I get called to the principal's office? Like, I haven't done anything. But yeah, I got called to the principal's office. I got up out of my desk. I walked down to the principal's office. I go into the office. And all of a sudden, I'm greeted to a large table. And like half my teachers are sitting around it. Not my math teacher and a few other ones because they had classes going on during this hour. But a bunch of my other teachers from all my other classes were sitting there around this table. My English teacher, my fucking history teacher, one of my tutors, and yeah, just a bunch of teachers and people that I worked with at the school. And I was like, what's going on? And my mom's sitting there at the table too. And my mom's like, why don't you sit down? And I was like, okay. So I sit down and I'm thinking like, okay, what the fuck's happening right now? Like, why is everyone here? Like, what is this meeting for? And immediately, my principal starts off the meeting by saying, Austin, do you know how close you are to failing the year? And that's when I realized, okay, that's what this meeting is about. It's about me and my shitty grades. And I replied and I was like, no, I don't. And they're like, yeah, you're really close to failing the year. Like, if you fail one more quarter, you're done. And I was like, well, I'm trying my hardest. And my other teacher speaks up, my history teacher. And he's like, well, Austin, I know you're not trying your hardest because in my class, you have your head down 24/7. You're falling asleep. I can tell you're not sleeping enough at home. And then my English teacher chimes in and she's like, yeah, like we can tell that you're like, not all there. I know you have that YouTube hobby that you do. It seems like you're doing that more than schoolwork. Like every day you're on there doing stuff, but you're not doing your schoolwork. Like it just feels like you're prioritizing things that don't matter all that much. And yeah, unfortunately around this time, all of my teachers knew about my YouTube channel. The secret was pretty much out and everyone knew about it. And they seem to have had a problem with how much I was uploading. They didn't like the daily uploads, guys. Like, literally, right after my English teacher said that, all my other teachers spoke up, and they were like, yeah, like, we don't really understand why you're uploading so much on your YouTube but not doing your schoolwork. Like, what do you think is more important? And they were, like, kind of just going in on me about it. And the whole time, my mom's just sitting there quietly because she knew that my YouTube meant a lot to me, but she also knew that school was important, so she was kind of at a crossroads. But anyway, after they went in a circle and pretty much just all talked about how I need to put more time into school and less time into YouTube and slacking off, I had a chance to talk. And I was like, well, listen, I understand that it may be hard to understand that my YouTube channel is important to me, but other than the fact that it's important to me, it also makes money. So, like, if that is any of a reason to keep uploading, I guess I could use that as an excuse. Like, I didn't upload videos for money, and I never really have. I've always done YouTube as a hobby, and it's just kind of turned into an accidental career for me. But I figured if I told them that it made money, they would get off my back about it. But after I said that, my history teacher laughed, and he goes, yeah, how much? Like, is it really worth it? And little did he know, at that point, I was making more than him on YouTube than he was at teaching. But, like, I wasn't going to say that because I didn't want to be rude. But I just laughed. I laughed and I looked down at the ground and I didn't say anything. And he's like, what's so funny? And I was like, nothing. You're just ignorant. And he goes, I'm ignorant? Well, I'm not the one failing the school year, am I? And then I was like, all right, motherfucker, now we're doing this. So I looked over at him and I was like, you know what's funny? I was like, I'm probably going to fail this school year. Probably going to keep uploading YouTube videos and making video game videos like the fucking nerd that I am. But the craziest part about all that is somehow at 16 years old, I'll still be making more money than you. And he got so mad. He got so insecure. He was like, that's not even true and you know it. Like, you don't know anything about my life. Like, you're just making assumptions. And I was like, wow, isn't that really funny and ironic coming from you right now? It's almost like you just did the same thing to me. And he just had nothing to say. He went silent. And my principal chimed in and was like, all right, like, stop it. This is ridiculous. This is not the point of the meeting. All we're trying to say is, Austin, you should probably put a little bit more focus into school and less focus into the other things. I talked to your mom about it, and we think that it'd be best if you took a break from your YouTube for at least a year and get your grades back in order. And I was like, absolutely not. Never going to happen. Nope. Like, I'll try and get my grades up, but I'm not stopping my videos. Like, you can try and take it away from me. You can try and tell me to stop. I will never stop doing this. And they tried to argue with me even more about it, but they just couldn't convince me because I was dedicated to this, and I still am. You know how many people in my almost 10 years of doing YouTube have told me to stop? Literally at least once a year, I get someone being like, well, it's probably not going to be very feasible for more than a year or two. It's probably not going to last very long. I'm still standing 10 years later, motherfucker, so I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, I'm not trying to suck my own dick, but basically, I ended up telling my teachers essentially as nicely as I could that I'm not going to listen to them, and I'm not going to stop doing YouTube. And they didn't like that very much, and they just kept trying to convince me, and eventually the meeting had to be over because we were out of time. And I remember later that night at home, I was eating dinner, and my mom was like, listen, I know this YouTube stuff's important to you, and you're doing well with it, so I'm not going to take that away from you, but I really think you should try and finish school. And I agreed with her, and I told her I would try. And I did try. I can't lie. I tried for quite a bit. But honestly, man, I don't know if I was just too stupid, if it was my ADHD, if it was just me being lazy, but I just couldn't do it. And I ended up quitting not long after this. And honestly, I'm glad that I did because, like, I ended up having way more time to grow my channel, and it worked very well. That was pretty much the year that changed my life after that. I ended up hitting 1 million subs. I ended up becoming a full-time YouTuber, streamer, and yeah, things worked out really well in the end. Now, this story time's kind of all over the place, and I guess the moral of the story is, don't give up on things you believe in. I'm not sitting here saying, you know, quit school and go pursue YouTube or go pursue some other career, but you can very much do both. You can do good in school, and you can have a hobby like YouTube, streaming, music, anything, skateboarding, whatever it may be, right? Like, you can have a hobby that you believe in and still do school and do good at it. And if people tell you you can't, they're wrong. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't. I was just dumb or something. But, like, most of you I know for a fact can. So, yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the story time. I'm very glad I didn't listen and, you know, didn't take that year off. Because imagine if I did quit YouTube for a year back then. I probably wouldn't be here today talking to you guys. But, yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.
I got them all fucking with me, and you know they all know that I'm always gonna do the most. I drop the top, everyone stop, tell my hometown and say adios. I'm in the back of the crib with some G's on my fist, yeah, you know I'll go till I'm old. This shit a mess, I'm really blessed. Don't fuck with snakes, but I keep them close.